and council members. My name is Annette Watley, and I'm a resident of Elgin. I'm here tonight to address the recent ICE raids and abductions happening across Texas and to ask for clarity on how the city of Elgin and the Elgin Police Department are responding. Public safety and civil rights are not opposites. In Elgin, they must stand together. Our city is home to working families who have built their lives here, raising children, running businesses, and contributing to this community. When immigration enforcement is carried out without transparency or due process, it undermines trust, separates families, and erodes constitutional rights. That loss of trust does not stop with ICE. It directly impacts local law enforcement. When residents fear that calling 911 or speaking to police could lead to detention or deportation, crimes go unreported and people stay silent. That makes everyone less safe. I'm asking the city of Elgin to clearly state that the Elgin Police Department will not participate in, assist with, or provide cover for ICE operations that violate civil liberties or lack due process. This includes not sharing resources or coordinating actions that blur the line between local policing and federal immigration enforcement. I'm also asking for transparency. What guidance has EPD been given regarding ICE? Are there any agreements in place? And how is the city ensuring residents' constitutional rights are protected? Protecting our community is not about politics. It's about upholding the law, preserving trust, and keeping families safe. Elgin has the opportunity to lead with clarity and compassion. To say that public safety here means safety for everyone. Thank you for your time.
Caroline Mueller.
Caroline is right.
Caroline, okay, I was right the first time.
That's a hard act to follow. Mayor and council members of Elgin, I have been a City of Elgin resident for just over 3.5 years, finding an unexpected home on Main Street with all of these wonderful community members with these wonderful businesses. I have been watching the news like a lot of us. There's so much noise. We've been hearing so much. We know we're hearing all kinds of things. I thought Elgin was a safe place from those kinds of federal actions, from the lack of due process, from the lack of transparency, from the violations of people's civil rights. And I was so heartbroken to hear that that was not the case. I know that there's only so much that you all can do. I know there's only so much that Elgin Police Department can do. I know that we all have a commitment to keeping our community safe. What I do want to say is, in a few years, will you look back on this moment and say we did everything we could to keep our community safe? I did everything I could. I'm proud of what I did. We all only have a little bit of power, but all the power we have, we should put towards fighting back when there is this kind of injustice. And I don't want to spend too much more time because there are much smarter folks here. I just want to say Elgin is the kind of place where community shows up for each other through tornadoes, through funding cuts, through businesses closing, through personal tragedies. I've seen it over and over again. This is a special place. Let's keep it special. Thank you so much.
Mary Callahan Cosmore.
Thank you, Madam. I'm also here to address the ICE situation. We all need to remember one thing, something that's not always talked about. Every square inch of this country, from north in Alaska to the tip of Texas, from the tip corner of Maine all the way to the Hawaiian Islands, was stolen land. The very people who came to this country committed a genocide. I'm part Native American, but I also have family that came over from Ireland. I know what happens when people don't stand up and say, enough. No, we can't let this happen. And I know there's a lot you cannot do. but you cannot stand by and say, yeah, go ahead. Because sooner or later, there will not be anybody left to stand up for you. This country was built on the backs of people who looked like our mayor. And that was wrong. And it took forever for people like you, Madam Mayor, to have the right to vote, to be treated as an equal citizen. I have stood up for the Black Lives Matters movement. I have stood up for women's rights. I have stood up for every minority in this entire country. Because unless you are 100% Native American, or you can prove, like I can, that you do have indigenous blood, your family was either a slave or an immigrant. I know how that poem ends. I'm not gonna be one of those people that stays quiet. And I hope none of y'all will either. Because someone, somewhere, their life is depending on it. And hopefully it's not someone in this town, because they are disappearing people in this country so fast that it makes my head swim. And they're not done. Once they're finished with the brown people, they will come after another group. They will come after the blacks. They will come after the indigenous, which they are already doing in Minnesota. Right now, there are 3 indigenous men. They don't know where they're at, and ICE won't tell them. Then they'll come after the gay community. And that will be a personal affront to me, because I have a member in my family who is gay. Thank you.
Thank you. Amber Gangeloni.
Good evening, Mayor, City Councils, Mr. Eid. My name is Amber Galliano. I'm here tonight as a neighbor, a 32-year community member, and somebody who deeply cares about the safety and unity of our town. I want to begin with the simple truth. Our town is made up of families. Families who work, who worship, who volunteer, who send their kids to school, who shop locally, and who contribute every single day to the life and economy of this town. These families are not others, they are us. Tonight, I'm respectfully asking our city officials to make a clear public statement on where you stand regarding ICE activity in our town. Silence, even when unintentional, sends a message, and right now, many members of our community are living in fear. Not because they've done something wrong, but because they don't know whether their city stands with them or will remain silent as families are torn apart. This is not about political parties. This is not about left versus right. This is about values. It's about our city's motto that reminds us we are one team, one town, and one family. Those words mean something, or they should. Families cannot feel like a family when some are made to feel disposable. A team cannot function when some players are left unprotected. A town cannot thrive when fear keeps people from seeking medical care, reporting crimes, and participating in civic life. Cities across Texas have chosen to speak clearly. Some have affirmed that local resources will not be used to target families. Some have committed to transparency. And some have simply stated, we see you and you belong here. And we are asking for that same clarity from y'all. A public statement does not mean defying federal law. It means defining who we are as a city. It means telling our residents whether our local government will prioritize trust, safety, and dignity, or remain silent while fear fills that gap. When families are afraid, I'm sorry, y'all, I got tears in my eyes, sorry. When families are afraid, everyone is less safe. When trust between residents and local government erodes, the entire community suffers. And when children go to sleep wondering if their parents are going to be gone in the morning, that is not a community living up to our values. I urge you to be brave and to be clear and to be compassionate. Tell us all where you and our police department stand on this issue. Tell our immigrant families whether this city sees them as our neighbors or as liabilities. And remember, more than anything, we are one team, one town, and one family.
Krista Gaston.
Hi, everybody. I grew up here. I graduated in 2003. I moved back about 3 years ago, and I really wanted to move back home and anchor into a place I loved, comforted. I was really comforted to see that we had a really thriving immigrant community, which is a sign of safety for me. After I left Elgin in 2003, I ended up working in San Francisco, California at the intersection of immigration, foster care, and juvenile justice as a multi-systemic therapist and a trauma-informed systems strategist. For almost 13 years I did that. And I really think that the number one thing that made me really effective in those positions was my experience growing up here, impacted by the immigrant families. Most notably, in my senior year as the president of FCCLA, or Family, Career, and Community Leaders of America, under the leadership of Mrs. Patricia Carter, I won a national award for my work based on my work with immigrant families here in Elgin at the Advocacy Outreach. Those early life experiences led me to Texas State, University of San Francisco, and then working with immigrant families in the urban setting. Across the nation, clinicians, mental health clinicians like me, are speaking up on the impact of the current political climate and how it is systemically wrecking the nervous systems of individuals and communities. As a trauma-informed systems strategist, and from this perspective, I know that when a protest emerges in a community, trauma fragmentation in that community is already present. Elgin leadership needs to turn towards healing-oriented policy more than ever right now, because what happens to a traumatized community or person is that our body's governing systems get overloaded with heightened emotion, and when people or a town's emotions are inflamed, their amygdala flares up and their defense mechanisms take control, which is fight, flight, freeze, fawn, or gather. It's obvious our community's nervous systems are on high alert. Many are hiding out, not going to school or work, while others are networking like it's Nazi Germany to protect our neighbors, and some are gathering in mass. So I know Elgin is dedicated to caring for each other, and so I ask us to extend that care through healing-oriented policies and systems to be proactive in protecting the sacredness of this place we call home and the people that make it feel like home. For next steps, the smallest step include a healing-oriented policy which promotes transparency over silence from the City of Elgin, the Chief of Police, and the school district regarding their policies and relationships with federal ICE agents, and as well as their plans to protect our community. In 2017, I saw an announcement from the superintendent saying that our schools were safe. I would like to see that kind of announcement again. Comments as small as keep moving, like the Hayes County judge shared, are low effort and limited effectiveness, but they work. I do believe that the swiftest, most effective way to calm our community's nervous system is taking protective action and cutting all ties with ICE. Thank you.
Debbie Gaston.
Glad to see all of y'all here. Glad to see the support. I'm here speaking towards this program that we call ICE 2. And I'm not going to speak very long because I didn't provide a speech, but I'm real concerned because I taught here in public schools for years. And that was the thread of our school was, I'm sorry, all of our minorities, but especially Hispanics. I was here when we went from 10% maybe Hispanic to 70% Hispanic. But the main thing that they did in school was to make sure those kids were safe. And there was a program for the immigrants that followed the wheat trucks and all of that. You know what I'm talking about? And we had to, in the schools, make sure that those kids were okay and taught. And so I'm just asking that Elgin does the same, that we haven't stopped taking care of that important part of our community. We're all important, and we are only as important as the lowest of the low. We have to pull everybody up, and that's all I have to say.
Darcy Snyder. Darcy Snyder.
First, I just want to thank all of you for your service. We really appreciate you in our community and being here. I'm just here to speak against ICE being allowed into our communities in the way that they are going. It's very frightening to see, and I have neighbors and friends who have been greatly impacted, and I want our community to continue to support each other instead of work against each other. And mainly, I just, I'm here to support all those that have spoken already, and to say there's a lot of us that don't usually come and speak to you all that feel very strongly about this, and I'm really just here to lend my presence and support of all who have spoken already tonight. And I ask that you continue to serve those of us in your community in the ways that we really need you to stand up and speak on this issue. It's really, really important. Thank you.
Julia Sata. Probably messed that name up too. I'm sorry if I did.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have lived in Elgin for almost 13 years. It'll be 13 years this spring. And what drew us to this town after looking around was the community sense. What a strong and connected community. And I'm not naive enough not to notice where people live and that we have racial divisions in terms of where people live and who gathers. But we also cross those. We come together often. When we come together when there's need, we come together to celebrate. We often do hog eye together. And it is what made us choose this town. And since being here and the community connections that we've formed, and I have just fairly recently retired, so I am not as involved as I know some people would like citizens to be. And I also know that we need all of us to be involved to keep all of us safe. I am speaking out also against having ICE in our community. I'm asking each of you to look in your hearts and decide where you stand. Are you okay with having masked, unidentified, secret police type agents come into our town and threaten and harass and kidnap our citizens? We need to come together. I'm asking also for transparency. I would love it for Elgin to have a cohesive message from our government, also from our school district, and also from our police department, stating that you stand in support of all of the citizens of our community. And if you cannot come together as a whole, then I would really ask that on the city website, that each of you individually state your position. Because as citizens, we elect our representatives, and we have a right to know where you stand, so that when we make our choices, we make them according to the values that you hold, and do they match our values? I love this town. I intend to stay in this town, and I intend to stand up, and I ask you to do that too. And I know that it has already been referenced, the statement that was done by Reverend, I think his name was Niemöller, in Nazi Germany, that if we don't stand up now, there will be the next focus and the next focus and the next focus, and the time will come. Don't imagine that the time won't come when no one is here to speak for you. Thank you.
Gil Snyder. Am I saying the first name? Oh, okay.
I also want to thank y'all for your service to this community. I've lived here over 40 years, and I want to share something. My father turned 100 years old yesterday, at which we had a wonderful party for him, and he was a veteran of World War II. And also, our family's Jewish. And he always taught me that the Holocaust would happen again. And I feel like we're getting close to living that again, and it's scary to me. When I was born, that was 10 years after the Holocaust occurred. So it wasn't that long ago that this happened in Germany. I feel like this is kind of going down the same road, and it makes me very nervous, and it makes me very sad, because I don't believe that Elgin, that's what Elgin is about. And I do believe that the police, you know, we as taxpayers pay for this police department. And we feel that they should not be spending their time helping ICE take away citizens that are hardworking and pay taxes. They pay taxes here. And they support the community, they support businesses. And honestly, there's a lot of us, this is a farming community, correct? Or it has been for years. And this is where they work. And without them, it hurts farmers, it hurts the community, period. And I happen to be one of those that it hurts. And it makes it very hard. I do not feel like the schools and churches should be targeted. I mean, that should be a safe place for these families. And to pull these families apart is just, I don't know anything other to say, it's very sad. And I do believe that it's not gonna just happen to them. The next group will be targeted. And it's gonna happen, and if you don't feel like it's gonna happen to you, keep your eyes open, because it's gonna happen. It'll be somebody else next. And why we are just having no transparency at all, and like that one lady said, and the masked men, if this is truly a force, why do they have to wear a mask? Why can't they show themselves? None of it makes sense to me. And I believe that the civil rights are being really harmed by this. Women's rights are very harmed by this. And we all need to stand up and protect what we have built for years since World War II. You know, and it's real possible we're about to go into World War III, and it makes me very, very scared. And I am not an activist. I've never come to these kind of meetings, but I felt like I should come and stand up, because this is my community and has been for a long time. And I would like it to continue being my community. And I also agree that there should be transparency on what the people that we elect, what their beliefs are, you know, because that's why we elect y'all, to take care of us. And I think I might have hit it all. But yeah, I'll quit. No more racial profiling, please.
Caitlin Harris.
Good evening. I'm Caitlin. I'm a farmer and a community member, and I recognize at least two of you for being at the protest that was organized a week ago, and I appreciate that. I'm not here to talk about immigration or deportation. I'm here to talk about our friends and our families. And if Elgin collaborates with ICE, it will shred this community. And this isn't just about Elgin, this is about Texas. This is about our border. And our entire nation is watching, and they're gonna look to us to see how we respond. Will we cower? Will we toe the line? Will we yield? What level of force will they bring to our doorsteps? when they know they can expect every other Texan to be a licensed gun owner? How are they going to show up in our neighborhoods, in our schools, and on our streets? How will they show up in Texas differently than they've showed up in other parts of the country that aren't as red? Who was here for us during Hurricane Ike, during the Bastrop wildfires, and during the most devastating 2025 July 4th floods? Texans were here. Because we take care of one another, and the best Texans I know how to act right. We do it differently, and we don't do it like that. We take care of one another, and in Texas, it's important to remember, we aren't all white, we never have been, and we never will be. And it's highly likely that anything decided in these chambers will be of no consequence, given this administration. But the community will remember. When ICE goes home, our community will remember the decisions that you made. And if it turns out that the leaders of Elgin are planning to cower, to toe the line, and to yield as our Constitution is eroded beneath us, can you at least commit to organizing an emergency rapid response team to be ready when our citizens, our teachers, our students, our farmers, our business owners are in need of aid? Because we will continue to show up, because we're Texans. And please find another place to put the wastewater treatment facility in Liddick.
Stephanie Lipke.
You rock too. Oh my God.
Good evening, Mayor, Council, Mr. Eads. City Council, this is a moment to pause and reflect on priorities. Tonight, the council has on the agenda an expensive out-of-town training for the city manager in the middle of budget season. The justification, he's been out of the field for some time and maybe needs a refresher, and that's not wrong, and that's not the problem. At the same time, Elgin still does not have a finance director in place during the most critical financial period of the year. Our city manager is earning $260,000 annually. That doesn't include car allowance, relocation, housing allowance while he finds a place in Elgin. It is a very nice package, which places that compensation at the highest end for cities that our size in Texas. The high end of that is $200,000, so we're well $60,000 above it. The salary was approved without hesitation, even as core financial leadership positions remain unfilled. Training and professional development are not inherently wrong. Strong organizations invest in their people, and that's a good thing. We need that. But even at this time, leadership is also about timing, readiness, and setting the right priorities. And I realize that the bulk of this financial burden is going to possibly be paid by grant, and that's great. We're seeking that. But by that same tone, you're setting a priority and a vision that says we're putting this first before we're putting our financial security and solidifying having those key persons in place. From a governance standpoint, this decision raises reasonable questions about what comes first. During budget season, the priority should be ensuring we have experienced financial oversight in place before approving additional discretionary spending. Fiscal responsibility is not just about saying no. It's about sequencing decisions wisely and protecting the taxpayers' trust, which is very low right now. Elgin deserves leadership that is prepared from day one, focused on fundamentals, and committed to stewarding public dollars with care, especially when our finances are under pressure. Currently, the finance director and the senior accountant position are still not posted. How are we hiring somebody if you don't have these positions posted? They're not going to come in off the street. Elgin deserves better, and this is the standard I believe our community expects and deserves. Thank you both.
That ends our public comment. We'll move on now to announcements.
For our announcements, we have ADHD Parenting Playbook Thursday, January 22nd at the Elgin Public Library, starting at 7 p.m. Our primetime field trip from Elgin Parks and Rec is going to be at Curio Morosa and Haley's Grains, Monday, January 26th from 2 to 4. Amanzapet Central Texas Regional Low-Cost Mobile Clinic is going to be Thursday, January 29th at the Elgin Recreation Center. And finally, we have the blood drive Wednesday, February 4th at the Elgin Rec Center from 12 to 6.
So by the way, let me introduce our interim Parks and Recreations Department Director, Ms. Grace Pettis. Good luck.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Next, we have a proclamation honoring Gloria Jean Houston Ochiltree, and I don't think there's anyone here to receive it, but we're going to go ahead and read it anyway. The proclamation honoring Gloria Jean Houston Ochiltree, whereas Gloria Houston Ochiltree is a respected and longstanding member of Elgin community whose life and work reflect faith, dedication, service, and excellence. And whereas Gloria Houston Ochiltree is a graduate of the class of 1964 of Washington High School. And since 1997, Gloria Houston Ochiltree has been the proud owner and operator of Gloria's Hair Boutique, providing professional beauty services and contributing to the economic vitality of Elgin. And whereas Gloria Houston Ochiltree has devoted over 30 years in the beauty industry in Elgin, building trusted relationships, mentoring others, and enhancing the confidence and well-being of her clients. And whereas Gloria Houston Ochiltree has faithfully served through her church, demonstrating leadership, compassion, and unwavering commitment to ministry, fellowship, and community outreach. And whereas Gloria Houston Ochiltree has consistently demonstrated a servant heart through her volunteer service to seniors in Elgin community, offering care, support, and dignity to those in need. And whereas Gloria Houston Ochiltree has further served the community by providing service through the Elgin Funeral Home, offering comfort, professionalism, and compassion to families during those most difficult times. Whereas her lifelong commitment of faith, entrepreneurship, and community service has made a lasting and meaningful impact on the city of Elgin and its residents. Now therefore, I, Teresa McShane, Mayor of the City of Elgin, do hereby recognize and honor Gloria Houston Ochiltree for her outstanding contribution to the beauty industry, her faithful service through her church, and her enduring legacy of care commitment to the people of Elgin. An official recognition where I hereto set my hand and cause the great seal of the City of Elgin, Texas, to be affixed this 6th day of January 26th. Then we'll have our city manager's report.
Thank you, Mayor. Going to have our HR director go ahead and introduce some new team players here, some new city employees.
Good evening, council, mayor, and city manager. I would like to introduce the 3 new hires that we have from January. We'll be doing this every month as we have new hires come in. First, please join me in welcoming Dallin Dean, who joins us as our animal control officer. Can you come up? Dallin holds a bachelor's degree in animal science and has worked as a public safety officer, correctional officer, and an animal engagement instructor. We're glad to have his diverse experience and passion for animals in our community. Next, I'd like to introduce Daryl Armstead as a patrol officer. He brings over a decade of law enforcement experience from the UT Police Department and LaGrange Police Department. He holds a master's degree in criminal justice and has earned his master peace officer license. We're excited to have his experience and leadership on our team. And lastly, I'd like to introduce Amy Andrade, please come forward, who joins us as our part-time program assistant with the Recreation Center. She will be working alongside Grace in coordinating the various community programs sponsored by the Parks and Recs Division. She is eager to bring her hospitality and customer service skills to a public service role. We're happy to welcome her enthusiasm and creativity to our team. Congratulations and welcome. Should have known. Oh, you want me in this one too?
Okay, item number 2. This is to authorize and accept the acceptance into the Harvard Kennedy School of Executive Education for senior executives in state and local government. The program runs June 1st to the 19th, 2026, and authorize me to apply for the ICMA Will Ferguson Jr. Scholarship to fund the tuition. So it's a 2-part authorization, one for the ability to accept my acceptance into the program, which means the commitment to the actual school itself, which obviously is going to be in Cambridge, Massachusetts. But then also to the pre-commitment of the funds prior to the application of the scholarship, which the notification comes until May, which is prior to the commitment that has to be made today, because that Harvard needs the commitment by the end of this month, which is in a couple of weeks. So I did say also, or we will show tonight what this looks like in the scheduling sense. We're comfortable. We've talked at length about this in our operational setting, and so we are well within the abilities that we currently have, and we'll be even more comfortable 6 months from now to be prepared to handle our operations, and so we can do a lot of things at once, and we're just getting better and better and better at doing it. And so right now I ask this. I think this makes us more credible in our approaches. It makes us, our community or our offices more sellable. And seeing that I intend this to be my last stop, as I'm close to 20 years already, this is truly for the benefit, I believe, for our community here. So, but there are ways to slice this and dice this. It needs to be, like, we can have a conversation with Mark to ensure, some backstops to make sure that, this is covered if there's any idea of me not being here, in a couple of years or whatever that may be, if that's a necessity on the council's part. I'm fine with that as well. And yeah, there are other years to go ahead and consider this, but this board at Cambridge has approved my application out of thousands. I don't know what's going to happen next year or the following year. Who knows? So it's in your packet. You know what I'm looking at doing, and it is on local and state governance specifically. So I think it can only make us all a little bit better.
Robert, I really appreciate what you've done, and being accepted in this program is a significant event. So I am going to make a motion that we accept this.
Oh, well, before we make a motion, just, I mean, I wouldn't mind entertaining the idea of speaking with Mark, so we can have a guarantee that, you know, if this goes through, you don't just leave us in 2 years.
Yeah.
We'll get some benefit out of this.
Yeah, and I told them to. I mean, it could be, obviously, if it's a no-cause separation, that's mutual, that's something different, but like a resignation on my part, you know, anytime before, I don't know, 24 months or whatever crazy idea like that, it's totally 100% paid back to the city. I just want to give those guarantees.
Around and the lease attached to it, that you're not leaving forever.
Yeah, and that's just a contract modification that we can do, and I'm totally agreeable to those things, so.
So if we need to speak with Mark and change contract and stuff,
I'm agreeable to.
we can bring this back?
Well, so the
Oh,
Harvard,
you gotta have a
Harvard
deadline.
needs a decision by the 31st.
Well, can we
of
make,
January. March?
so we can make a motion with a stipulation that we will go into a contractual agreement?
Like an amendment.
Mhm.
I'm so moved, amend my motion to bring Mark into this and be done with it.
What he said.
Yeah.
What he said.
Stay at the mic, Chuck, so we can hear you. Nobody can hear you after.
Oh, they couldn't hear you.
Sorry, yeah. I amend my motion that says that, per our city council, that we amend this to put stipulations to it, but I believe we need to get this done, so that's my motion.
Do we have a second?
Do we state it that way, Mark? Do we need to state that we make a motion to approve this with the stipulations that the city mayor will go into agreements with the city manager and the city attorney to amend the city contract?
Yeah, make a motion to appropriate the funds as requested
Mhm.
in this agenda item, and also authorize the mayor to enter into an agreement with the city manager, that if there is a resignation during whatever period of time you wish, that might have to be paid back by the city manager.
Mark needs a mic.
Mark, can you come up here and restate that to the podium, please? I'm sorry, there's no public comment from the.
I just wanted to make a suggestion. Sorry. So we do need to move to appropriate the funds as requested under the agenda item, and then you can add an additional authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement with the city manager that if there is a resignation during whatever period of time that you determine, that those funds would be paid back by the city manager. So, and we can craft the agreement from there. All right. Any questions?
Speak now, forever hold your peace.
I don't have questions about that, but in regards to the timing, you said that there would be some time frame or something that you could show us with regards to how this is going to affect like budget season and whatnot, and do you have that? Can I see that? I mean, it is, I don't have a problem necessarily with you going. My problem is the time, like where it is in the year.
I got you. So the way we expect to be operating is that we're already talking budget in March. And so a lot of these conversations, I'm not sure when those happened last year, but the way that we're gonna operate here is that we're working through all those budget considerations and preparing a budget well before this. And so, again, I won't be somewhere that's not accessible as well. And so, nothing will be contingent upon those 18 days that we can already figure out and be working on. I can get that done. And again, and if I can, I would have, and I will tell this council, the last thing we need is not to be able to accomplish this. But what I was, I guess, trying to say is that because I know the progress that we've made on the financial part, which is coming up, Like the next report's gonna show our financial,
Yeah, I looked at
update.
that.
And then we have some other cleanup that we're doing. I'm comfortable in saying that even our budget process is gonna be way different, hopefully, sooner, and we're gonna be a little bit more active in how we do this. And so, using the same systems of last year or years prior, that may have been true, but the approach that I wanna take will show that we can handle that in that time period as well. So, I wouldn't make that guarantee if I couldn't do it. And
So,
this is-
so let me get, I'm clear on this. Authorization would mean we're well within our budget for that particular for travel and training?
Yeah, we have, budget or savings and salary savings. We have, obviously, some additional monies that, we had budgeted that we didn't have to expend at the tune of $1.3 million as an example, with salary savings to start. So that is there. Obviously, it was a budget, we didn't know this would come up. That's why I can't say that, we were able to pre-plan this, and I would expect we don't have anything close to this next year, but I just didn't want to miss the opportunity when it was presented. I'm not sure about ever getting presented that, or any else in our staff.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know that anybody from Elgin has participated in this, and I think it's a wonderful opportunity, and I feel like it shows you coming in and you're hitting the ground and you're getting things done, and I trust that you're gonna have a system up in place that, yes, you're gonna be in another state for 18 days, but you're gonna have, they do have phones and Wi-Fi, I hear, in Cambridge, and you'll set up a system and things will be good, but I think this is for the best for our community networking, understanding what best practices are, learning from other cities. So I agree, and I'm happy to support the motion on the floor with the caveat of discussing that agreement.
I take it this is a fairly prestigious opportunity, I mean, in terms of the outcome.
I know quite a few city managers, and I only know of 2 others, probably dozens, and, yeah, it's a commitment, without doubt financial, but it's a commitment from their communities, because it always can wait. You can always have emergencies, you can always have other things. So that's why I appreciate, even the consideration, but you can also make it a priority. And I think this would set the tone for our other employees as well, to say we prioritize this. And so I'd love to see others bring us or bring forward these types of things. Now, can we sustain these high dollar ones? I'm sure we cannot. But I will state this publicly, privately. We prioritize our employees, and we will definitely be pushing to get them as trained as much as we can, because we want to keep them here. We want them to feel comfortable in what they're doing, and so that we have the highest level of service we can provide. And that way we're not sheltered here, not understanding what the rest of the world is doing, and not just Austin. God bless Austin, but there's other things besides Austin.
I think, because we can't offer money, like Austin or like Travis County, I think to invest in any of our employees is a good thing. We can go out for grant money for that, so we don't have to shoulder all of that burden. And I feel like that's an added bonus to keep people here, that we can offer that kind of package.
Yes,
So I'm in favor. Not just you.
Yes, ma'am.
All of our employees.
I appreciate it.
Make sure you fill out that scholarship.
Bring back a finance director. Anyway, did we get a second?
Yes, second.
Okay, hold on. All right, so it's been moved by Chuck and seconded by,
And you got it with the caveat?
and with the caveat,
Yes.
yes, then we'll put a whole lot of time on it.
Okay.
Trust.
I support.
Remember that stake in the ground and that handcuffs and stuff, yeah.
Stop.
Well, let the mayor work
I thought that's
that
gonna be
out.
part of the negotiation, but y'all got ideas, you want me to 2 years, 3 years?
I think 2 years is.
Yeah, I'll say
2 years?
I say 2 years.
is adequate.
Make it 20, let's just nail it right in.
You always put the best part. Okay, we're gonna go with, start with 2 years.
Up to you, yeah.
Okay. All right, we'll begin with Councilmember Swain.
Swain, yes?
Love, yes.
St. Pierre, yes.
Krim, yes.
Frazier, yes. McShane, yes.
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Okay, motion carries.
Thank you, council. So we're excited to provide our finance department update. I did send some backup information earlier today. It was a little tedious, a lot of documentation, and obviously that information will be uploaded to our website. So when we send stuff to the council, you can substitute the word citizens as well, because that's the intent. Take it, Pam.
Okay. Do you have my slides? Last time we visited about finances, we talked about preparing quarterly reports. And so this is our first attempt at providing the quarterly reports to what we believe City Council would need. So if there's anything extra you want, you'll just have to ask. We'll add it to the next quarterly reports. So what's included in here, you all got a packet that was provided electronically and then a hard copy tonight in your seats that explains each of the reports that we've included here. The quarterly investment report is required under the Public Funds Investment Act. It's also set by our city charter, so that is included. The budget summary report is the performance of the major operating funds across the city, those being the general fund, utility fund. The budget variance report is the one that will give you an idea about what each department is doing expense-wise and how they're spending. The sales tax report will explain or will reflect what we've collected in sales tax over the last 3 years. And then the capital improvement program is what's currently being worked on. So the first report is the quarterly investment report. And it shows all of our bank accounts, what the ending balance was in September, any deposits, withdrawals, interest earned, and what the ending balance is as of December 31st, 2025, which is the end of the quarter. At First National Bank, we have a 3.03% interest rate, and at Logic, which is often referred to as text pull accounts, the interest rate is 3.95%. You can see that we have earned interest, 200,000, close to 200,000. Sorry, can't see without glasses. $164,000 for the first quarter just in interest. Property taxes are primarily received in December and January, so you'll see the balances in First National Bank is a little bit higher because some property taxes have already started to come in. And then any money in excess of the pledge to security is transferred over to Logic so that we can draw higher interest. And interest earned is revenue to the related fund, and it's calculated based on the fund balance of the fund that it was earned in. And interest is also, in a sense, free money that can be spent. I mean, we budget for it, but it is considered a revenue to the city. Any questions on the investment report? Okay. The next one is your budget report. It covers your revenue summary by fund. The general fund is our main operating account, and it's used to handle the day-to-day activities. The utility fund is what we refer to as enterprise fund or business fund, and it's established based on what we sell in water and wastewater rates. That's why the rate study is out, so that we can increase dollars earned into that fund. So this one here will show you, it's a summary. In your report, you'll see it broke down by category. This is the last page of that budget report for revenue. It'll compare to the original budget, the period activity, which is your first quarter, and then what the variances are and your percent remaining in that budget. The next one is the expenses, and I only included in the slide the last page, and it shows you the general fund and the utility fund, and you'll see that the percents remaining is 77% and 79%, which is pretty on target, because we're a quarter into it, so we should be about 75%. You can't always lean on those numbers, but it just gives you an idea about where we should be. The budget variance report includes all funds in the summary, special revenue, debt funds, et cetera. The sales tax report, it's reported for the month that it's collected, but actually it is 2 months behind. So the money collected in October actually represents August. So when you're looking at this, and even though it's reported in October, you have to remember that that's August. And so some of the things that, go ahead.
Sorry, Pam, if I could just make a quick note. So we have a packet of a copy of the slides?
No, but I can make sure you do.
No. All I want to make a point of is, so what you have with you, and even what I sent out was going to be backup to the information that's being provided now. So you're going to, that's a deeper dive in the information. So just to let you know, right? And so this is some information that's being provided and this is the greater detail that's being provided to you. So just to let you know. And so take a deep dive if you want to do a deep dive, right? But as we're reporting this, I really don't want y'all to miss some of these key details, because it's really good where we're hitting these top notes. Because even at this, what we're showing how we report sales tax, how we collect, is something that's interesting. And you can even see that green bar is this year, 26. And if you remember on, I don't know, 2 Fridays ago in my weekly, I even put that we're just killing numbers, on the tax numbers as well. And they are coming in extremely well. But you also need to realize sales tax is reported for the month that it's collected, but the tax collections are 2 months behind, and so on and so forth. But so I just wanted to bring that up in case you're trying to follow, because this will be off from probably where you're at. Just it won't track on your detail.
The email you sent said something about how many percent increase?
Correct.
It's, we're doing well.
Yeah, we're tracking for sure what we need to be doing at this point, without a doubt. In some places, we're doing quite well.
We're actually doing better than Bastrop. We're
Yes.
actually doing better than
You're
Bastrop.
talking about sales collection. Oh, without a doubt, yeah, we're doing like 25 or something % up from last year, which is an incredible number when you see them doing single digits. So,
I was impressed.
yeah. You can have all the pomp and circumstance, I'll take the cash. So, sorry, Pam, continue.
Okay. And the last report in that packet is your capital improvement program. These are the projects that are currently underway. The budgets that's included in that is the original budget. So if it was a project that started 2 years ago, we're looking at that budget that was there. The expenditures are for that project to date, not just the quarter. They do reflect current balances, and it is based on information available at the time the report was run. This is a typical Q1 financial snapshot. Revenues and expenditures are tracking and in line with historical timing. Cash investments and compliance indicators are strong, and we will continue monitoring trends and report any material changes.
So at this point, what we'd like to say about this is that I think we're, again, showing how we move forward in our reporting, one, two, the stability of our finances. And then later on in our agenda, you'll see we're doing some, applying some corrective measures in just the accounting process for way back in '23, which is your 2024-25 budget. So we're going back to even clean up some stuff that was actually done in '23, which applied to 24-25. So that's why a lot of these assurances are materializing. Mind you, too, staff is performing a lot of the work that normally would have gone to our auditors or Gradient. So I do want to thank staff. We don't give, our finance department as a whole, credit, I would say. But I did get a list, an unbiased report, not from Pam, but from our auditors, and not from Gradient, our auditors, to say 75% of the reports that need to be done have these 75% of these reports were done by your own staff now this year, and that had never been done. And so, look like rather complicated reports. So I was not surprised, but I was thankful for that, and thankful to the staff because they do work extremely hard. So I just want to put that out there as well. So, good job. Keep going.
This will be posted on the website by the end of the week.
There you go. So this is an information piece. Obviously, we'd be able to answer any questions, but there's no action on this one. This is for information purposes. And I'll take it a step further. If there are any questions that you want to take a deeper dive on, stop by. Let's have a discussion on any one of the items or many items you have, and we can talk from there. But again, we want you to have the information. We want the public to have the information, and then track it as we go so that it is transparent, it's clear, it's obvious, and everybody can see what we're doing and what we're not doing. So that's our report.
This part of it?
No, it's coming later.
Mm.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
It's under the,
Okay, the next thing we have is our consent agenda. This minutes from January 6th. Resolution of the City of Elgin authorizing the city manager to execute the polling reservation confirmation, reserving the Elgin Recreation Center for polling location for March 3rd, 2026 for the primary election.
Can I ask,
And, I'm sorry.
can I ask a question about the polling? If I understand correctly, it's an additional polling location?
This is just for the primary, right?
Right.
Yeah, and day of.
Yes, so this is an additional polling location. This is only for the March 3rd primary. Technically, the reservation is for the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th. They'll be dropping off the equipment on the 2nd. We'll have voting at the location on the 3rd, and they'll pick it up on the 4th.
And our Parks Department is excited to have this.
Yes, we've already made the reservation with the Parks Department. We're just asking for approval of that. But they've already made plans for that.
But are we also going to be using the county annex?
Yes, the county's requested this to better suit our voters.
Okay, no, I just wanted to confirm that with the way I read it in the packet, was
Oh.
we will have two locations. The county annex.
So everybody hears.
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
The county annex.
704 Bull Run.
Yes, as well as the rec center.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved by Mayor Pro Tem Brazier and second by Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Love. And we'll begin with Mayor Pro Tem.
Brazier, yes.
McShane, yes.
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
St. Pierre, yes.
Krim, yes.
Mayor, can I make one comment? It's not having to do with the vote, but, and I know you just voted on it, but just a point of information on item number 3. As we discuss, Michael, working with the property owners, we are down to only 5 property owners left. And so he did a really good job at going out there. He changed his approach. And so he really kicked it up. I don't know why, but so we hope to have it rather quick. Right, Bo? Yeah. So,
Just make my traffic much better. That's all I want.
thank you, Mayor.
So now we have our new business, and the first one was an ordinance of the City of Elgin, Texas, amending ordinance number 2024092615, the annual budget for the fiscal year beginning October 1, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025.
Thank you, Mayor. I'm going to call up our interim finance director with Lori. That's pinch hitter. Or
This
the
is my
Robin
backup.
to the Batman.
Oh, she referred to herself as 12th man.
Oh, 12th man. Yeah. That's a bad reference to Longhorn fans, but
I was
that's
gonna
okay.
say in UT country.
Yeah, we're going to scratch that reference, Lori. Last time you used that one. You've been warned.
Okay, ready? This is the budget amendment for the FY 24-25 budget. As a reminder, this is the budget that was written 18 months ago, not the one that we just recently worked on. I wanted to explain that departments are grouped by the auditor in these kind of categories. So when they refer to, like, example, general government includes city council, the executive department, which is city manager's office, human resources, finance, IT, and facility maintenance. So it's not just when you're looking like planning and development, also includes community services and the library. So I wanted you to have that information as we went further into the budget amendment. This is an illustrated version of how to explain pooled cash. And so the blue border represents the swimming pool, and everything inside the swimming pool has its own function, but it's still within the same pool. So what that said is we have a main checking account. All of our funds go into a main checking account, and within that main checking account, some things belong to the hot fund, some things belong to the general fund, development fees, and so on. All right, and the budget amendment document is the single-page document that was left in your seats. Again, I wanted to remind you that this budget was written in the summer of 2024. We have collected more revenue than what we budgeted, and we also spent, so this is a balanced budget amendment with the net effect on the fund balance being 0. The budget was not written correctly for all the debt payments, which is why you see a net effect there with the debt services also being at 0. The way that I explained how they were divided up, that gives you the examples, like planning and development, building and code enforcement, and garbage are all pass-throughs, meaning we collected revenue and we expensed, but we needed to balance those out. Am I forgetting anything? Okay. The general government one is about the city manager vacancy. Okay, questions? All right, transfers in and out. This covers, hold on, I have my notes over here. So the projects that were completed included the park upgrades, the new police station and Veterans Park. You can look down Depot Street and see all of those changes. It was always intended that the general fund would support these CIP projects. The general fund did not send the dollars to the funds that paid for those projects. This amendment will reflect the general fund now paying its portions of those projects. This is the cumulative effect of capital projects over the years that the general fund and construction funds are paying for. This will also address the negative balances from fiscal year 2024. So what we need from the city council tonight is a motion to adopt the ordinance to amend the budget.
So before taking any action, I do want to just brass tacks this real quick and sum it up. Is that this is not technically bringing any money in, bringing or taking money out. The net effect is this is an accounting function. So you're bringing from one account to another. An accounting function that should have happened prior to, it just wasn't done. Again, we're correcting some sloppy, let's call it that, work. And so we are trying to make right or better our accounting system so that going to our immediate past, which obviously affects our then that year affects what we could expect in a 25 year, has to have that already on the books as being corrected. So as we move forward, it is properly accounted for, and we move forward correctly. And so, having said that, it had already been technically done, except as, you know, for months on the operational side, but we still needed to have this happen in that budget year for that time frame. And it's a movement of about 6 million, right? For the
Four.
accounting, four. And so, yeah.
From
so
the
you're-
general fund.
Yeah, so you're just grabbing from one area to another area, but on the same 2024, 25 budget, right? So it was, right, CIP and general fund needed to pay its portion to CIP. Same dollars remain, and now we're just saying, okay, make that account happen, like, do that, to cover that, and that function is completed. That's what this is doing right there.
This is necessary in advance of the audit.
Correct.
Generally speaking, though, the acceptable way to do this would be at the time of the occurrence, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so we want to have a year-end.
Correct. But again, as Pam said, right now, this, you know, for the upcoming audit, this is a requirement so that we can already have this corrected. And so as we we work through all these, the way to do this is recognizing all those opportunities to go ahead and correct on the books. Again, these are accounting, reporting.
It's taken a year to decipher how to break this down, which is why it wasn't done throughout the year.
Right.
Okay, you answered my question.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So remember,
This is all the.
We're close.
The string, right?
Yes.
The string and trying to
Yeah.
pull all the strings out.
Yes.
And now we are a year and a half after that.
so, and this is the one, remember, Mr. Turner
Yes.
talked about being a March thing?
Yes.
So this is actually a January 20th thing, right? And so that's how much a focus we put on this. And we're at that point that we've identified that for sure is one that we've identified that accounting transaction is necessary, without a doubt, to be able to do. But that's an ordinance, that's a budget document of 2024, so you bring it before and you do that now. Having said that, we still we're in 25, 26. So in March, we're gonna be bringing.
May.
Sorry, I'm excited, we gotta go. May, we're gonna bring a mid-year
Amendment.
budget amendment for this fiscal year, just to check on ourselves to see how we're doing. This, though, is correcting some things that we just need to go ahead and start correcting.
This is what everybody has wanted, so.
That's correct.
And I love how you break it down in the 5th grade education, so everybody can get it and understand it.
Right.
There's no
Yeah.
questions.
And so when this happens, what you'll get as well is, once this operation is done, complete, it's gonna shake out what's the proper term for not fund balance?
What's the proper term for what?
Fund balance, it's not fund balance, not reserve, what is it called?
No, you're right, it's fund balance.
No, but, right, it's not supposed to be called that, what is it called? Okay, perfect. So then I'm gonna be right by default. We're gonna call it fund balance.
Just one moment. It will help us determine our beginning fund balance when we're starting with writing the 27 budget. We were very hesitant when we wrote the 26 budget to deal with fund balance because we weren't sure how some of these negative cash transactions were going to shake out. So this will help us give you a beginning fund balance for the 27 budget. Is
And-
that what you're referring to?
Yes, and I would say that we've had enough conversations and we know enough of the finances to say that it's in the 2.3 to 2.2
Yes.
million
Yeah, I believe
range.
so. Yes. We still have unaudited 25 financial statements. You will be receiving your audit in March, just so you guys know.
Right.
You know, spoiler alert.
No spoiler.
It has to be.
It will be.
And so we will be able to give you audited fund balances at that time.
Correct.
The auditors could still come in and make changes. They are working diligently on the 25 numbers as we speak. We've been providing documents left and right since Christmas. And so the audit is hot and heavy for 25 right now.
So just know that right now, the way we believe it to be and the way we're seeing it, again, with those caveats, and I reserve the right to be wrong, please, is that number that everybody's kind of waiting for, like where we're gonna land on this? It's 2 million to be conservative, right? Now, I'm gonna say this, we've got a $27 million budget, and having less than 10% cushion, no bueno, right? So I appreciate that we've got that, but definitely we need to start ramping up. And so we got a lot of different things that we're working on. I appreciate our team kind of going to guide us on that so that we can start crawling our way out, because we're at one point we're going to be at that 90-day minimum that we should be running at. In other words, we need to have 90 days worth of operations.
The bank.
Yeah. And so we'll be there. But first we crawl, then, we walk and then we run. But this is your march. This is the clarity. This is the movement forward. And so, one, the reporting comes, transparency to our public. Two, the budget amendment to go ahead and fix what we know needs to be fixed. And then three, going forward, that we know what has to happen so that we can be in the right place when it comes to mid-year and then our 26-27 budget. So as we talk about strategic planning and priorities, that's going to be one of the big things. Obviously, our staff and our money dictate a lot of things when we talk about the priorities of our community. But thank you again. I don't know if there's any more questions or any questions outside of Lori's comment.
Okay, do I have an emotion that we accept the
I'll make the
amendment?
motion to accept the,
We're going to make a motion according to this.
Yeah.
You want to read it?
yeah. Make a motion to adopt an ordinance of the City of Elgin, Texas, amending ordinance number 2024-09-26-15 that adopted the annual budget for fiscal year beginning October 21st, 2024, and ending September 30th, 2025.
No, second.
It's been moved to second by St. Pierre. So we'll begin with Councilmember St. Pierre.
St. Pierre, yes.
Krim, yes.
Frazier, yes?
McShane, yes.
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes. Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
Our second one is an ordinance annexing the 452 acre tracts of land, and I read this once, I'm not gonna, let's read all this over again.
We remember.
This is the longest one.
This one we had the hearing on.
Yeah, this is the one we had the hearing on, it took me forever to get there.
Peyton. Peyton, do we have the slide to put up? Thank you. So this is a property that's owned by a single development. It's actually two different properties. One is currently within the city limits. The other portion, the 45 aforementioned here, is outside of city limits. This property was originally under an annex development agreement, which basically stipulated that at the point in time they submitted development plans and/or a plat, preliminary, final, that they needed to annex into the city. The developer is here, but they are planning to annex the property into the city. The use today won't change. It'll still be used for agricultural purposes, but it is part of a larger development as they are currently planning, and you'll see come before you at a later council meeting, planning some development directly off of Highway 95. It's called the Silo Ranch.
Yeah,
if
we're
anyone-
not annexing this as a commercial endeavor.
The zoning change must go through P and Z.
That's true. Yeah, you're
So
right.
that, the
Okay.
P and Z will be meeting on this on Monday, and that's the aforementioned, it'll come back before council for the
It's not
zoning
currently
to change.
there, yeah.
Correct. When you annex in directly, it's R1, it'll be right back before you guys after it's gone through P and Z,
Yeah.
so. And it is definitely in Bastrop County. Do we hit? No, it says, proposed action review, discussion, consideration, ordinance annexing 45.452 acres located in Bastrop County.
It says Travis.
This is both.
City of
Yeah,
Elgin,
it says
Bastrop, and Travis, because
Yeah.
the city of Elgin is always stipulated as Bastrop and Travis County, because
Gotcha.
you guys cover both sides.
Both sides.
The actual proposed action, it calls out the correct county as Bastrop there
Okay.
in front of y'all. Any questions?
I guess it's too early to know if that sales tax is, or is the assumption that once it's annexed, the sales tax is automatically coming here, or that be part of a?
There would
development
be,
agreement?
it would only be on the property that's developed, and so the property would actually have to develop at what point. So the zoning would change to commercial, it would still keep from a ag standpoint, it's based on land use, so they'd still keep their ag exemption as long as they still have cattle, even though the zoning
We
is there.
won't know unless it actually happens.
When the development is built there, which most
Yeah.
of you guys have heard, Silo Ranch, and it's proposed to be a hotel, once it's there, that's the sales tax that will come in, is once the hotel is in operation.
Thank you.
Any more questions?
No, well, I make a motion to approve as is.
Okay, it's been moved and second, and we'll begin with Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Love.
Love, yes.
St. Pierre, yes.
Krim, yes.
Frazier, yes.
McShane, yes.
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes. Swain, yes.
Motion carries.
We do have water there, right?
Yes.
The next is a ordinance assigning the newly annexed properties to the City Council Ward Area Number 3, providing for a severability clause and providing an effective date.
As council is aware, anytime you bring in property into city limits, we have to assign it to a ward. As we've talked about right now, there will be zero population in there. But as some of the develops that we have had, some of them come in and be assigned to wards. At some point in time, we will have to rebalance the wards and change those. But a lot of the properties, you don't rebalance based on 0 people living there and what it might be, because you don't know when that would actually change. So just based on adjacent to, this is proposed to come in as Ward 3.
I think 3's getting a little big. I think Ward 2 needs just,
It's still empty.
Madam Mayor,
I don't think Ward 1 ever gets anything.
Madam Mayor, I make a motion to approve the ordinance as presented.
I second.
It's been moved and second. We'll begin with Deputy Mayor Pro Tem Frazier.
Frazier, yes.
McShane, yes.
Kaznowski, yes.
Gibson, yes. Swain, yes.
Love, yes.
St. Pierre, yes.
Krim, yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
The next will be a
As long as we have water.
discussion with possible action to establish a policy that requires the rotation of council members, board assignments annually, excluding the Board of Adjustments Commission, Planning and Zoning Commission, Building Standards Commission, and the Economic Development Corporation, with the initial rotation after the May 2 elections.
What's left?
You want me?
Councilmember St. Pierre.
Well, I'm not gonna just take all the credit for this. This is actually Councilman Gibson's idea.
Councilmember Gibson.
And I didn't feel like.
I won't take all credit either, because me and Alicia were
Oh.
talking about it too.
Deputy
Well, here
Mayor
you go. I just
Pro Tem
felt like he was
Love.
never gonna put it on the agenda, and so I was forcing it on the agenda so he would talk about it, because I think it was a really good idea. Him and I had a good discussion a couple months ago, with regards to a situation that was on a board, quarterly update, and it got us talking about how there's so many of us that we have the opportunity to be able to create like a liaison where we can all be a part of a board. Not only will it bring us a little bit more education about how the board works, but we can work directly with the board to direct them on the way the council would like to see things go. I guess you guys can say a little bit more as well.
Mine was basically, it's kind of the same thing. It's a lot of us, a lot of boards go empty with empty seats, and people step down, and we're already up here, so we could lend a hand. Other cities are doing it, and it's obviously working, and in that way, council does always have an ear in all things, and, you know, what they want and what the community wants. And then, my only hesitation with this one is, why is the rotation taken out for the EDC? I state that only because our term is only 2 years anyway. So why not allow this to rotate every 2 years as well? Now, I don't agree with annually. Again, our terms are 2 years. Might as well put us in the seat for 2 years.
Well, I figured the two annually because we have elections annually. And so if we have new members of the council coming in, it would give them a chance. Plus, I know that we don't put new council members on the EDC board.
Right.
And so that would also be able to prevent us from having something like that happen. And so I just figured because the election was every year, if we had somebody new, we're not just assigning them, you know, we're not forcing them into that position of who they're taking over. We just rotate it.
I get that, but just to say again, what if it was an election and somebody, whoever that one person that sits on the EDC?
There's two.
I know it's two, but I'm just saying,
The one
like,
that was up.
what if that one that is up that term, they run it again, but they do not get their council seat, and so now it's somebody else, but what if we have a whole new thing of brand-new council members outside of the, like, say Chuck, and then I'm new, and Chuck doesn't want to be on EDC, but what if the new person wants to be on the EDC? Questions like that.
So can I back up for a second? Maybe I read it wrong. Is the idea that council would sit on a board? Like you would be a voting member?
I don't think we should be voting.
No, I don't think we should be voting, but more to create like guidance. And that way also, when we have a quarterly report, we have somebody here to explain what happened in that meeting. If you have a question, one of us who was here at that meeting can be like, hey, I can tell you exactly why that happened. Sometimes we have these reports and we sit there and we read them here. They're not here to ask why they did what they did. And so now you have somebody here to be like, I know why they answered that, or I know why they did what they did.
So is the idea to go and just be an observer of every one of their meetings?
Well, didn't they once a month for most of them?
Yeah, but I think council should, my opinion is that council should be a voting member. Why? Because, again, a lot of these boards tend to have members and then they fall out. And then in order to hold a meeting, you have to have enough members present to have that meeting. You have this council person sitting there and they can't even vote, then you still can have a meeting.
Right.
But at least if you're a voting member, you're active, you're participating, then.
Well, what if we're there as like an alternate, if the board isn't filled?
I totally hear what you're saying, but we have to be real careful because some, like the EDC, have documented procedures and policies and who does get to vote, who doesn't, and others don't. So we would have to go back and make sure that we stay with the documented. Go ahead.
Yeah, Mayor, if I can say or try to give some clarity to some of this. So the reason why there is an exclusion to EDC is that in their own bylaws, they have some restrictive language in there, such as the requirement to be a property owner, right, as one. And so that may not be the case for all council members or the mayor or whatever it may be, right? So having to, it's not a all-inclusive, just anybody would be able to join, and that's per their corporation and the bylaws of the corporation. That's the way it was set up, right? Could that be changed? I'm sure it can. Everything can be changed, without a doubt. But it starts off with that restriction. Now, also the way the appointments work as well, it's done in a much different way, right? Obviously, mayor does have the appointments, and from that way that the appointments are made, that's the current procedure. Again, I'm being very mindful of and respect you a ton, Mayor, you know that. I suppose everything can be modified or changed. I'm only acting as a facilitator of whatever this council wishes to do, so.
Yeah, that's just what I'm saying. Before we just say, this is the way it has to be, we might just need to review, because not all boards are the same in their bylaws, and that's what I meant when I said that.
And just the other ones too, just to clarify why. So any commission has technical requirements.
We know those.
Yeah.
That's why
Board
I
of
was
Adjustments,
questioning
all that
those.
kind of stuff,
Yeah.
right? P&Z, all that other, any law creating body has some other hoops to jump through. But that one specifically has, EDC is different from even those because they have their own local rules as a corporation. And so kind of have to unpack that corporation rules, I guess. But even there's some local, I guess, rules or operational ways that the council has done it as well. And so I think the council member was generous enough to say, and the council member was the first one to tell me, pull EDC and any other body that has, you know, restrictions or complications, even though I know from conversations with a lot of different people that was one that was up for discussion, but I knew for a fact that there were some, you know, bylaws, things that needed to be worked through for sure. So I think the idea, and this is my little small little spec, I think the idea is sound to get everybody active in that sense, and to have a council that's participatory without a doubt. I already have Peyton, and we're ramping up our side of the house, which is gonna be our liaisons, and a standard that we're gonna be using with all our liaisons for all different committees, commissions, boards, so that it's standard throughout, so that she can expect a standard response. Because we'd love for that quarterly report to be given to you by the chairperson, not by staff, right? So I'm sure I can come up here and tell you, hey, the update is in your packet, but it'd be great if we have the chairperson.
Stop talking.
So it'd be great if the chairperson, could give that report, because one, it's a volunteer board that could provide that update. So you're gonna hear that unbiased report, not from a city staff member, not from the liaison. You're gonna hear it from those board people. And then you're gonna have a council member who's gonna be the council appointee or council members that can attest to say, I was in there and I can tell you, council members, that we talked about this, or we didn't talk about that, and we did this, and we did that. And then you're gonna turn around to me and say, can you get, you know, the attendance reports for me, or whatever it may be, which we'll be tracking with Peyton and providing those reports in a standard form where you drop them down, which he's doing right now, as best as we have the reports, which will then get them active, to then make quorum, to then it be standard, and then be expected. Because our meeting is, we want to hold that meeting with our liaisons and every one of those chair people across the board, to have that standard explained to them and to tell them that we're here to support that. So that they know that they'll have an agenda ready for them to prepare based on what they need to see happen. Minutes will be generated, all that good stuff. So there's no need to be shy about the committees. There's no need to be worried that it's a ton of work. We're gonna lift that for you. We just need your input. We need your thought process. We need you to be interactive. Do all that great work. Give it to us. And then we'll, you know, save it, post it, pack it, all that stuff. So anything that'll instigate that, administratively, we're for it. I don't know if it's this, right? Because I'm not in your neck of the woods. But anything you decide, we're definitely ready for it. So we're gonna work on our stuff without a doubt, and be prepared for where you wanna go with this. At minimum, we know if you decide this, we can run with all the committees, and when I say all, yeah, it's gonna be Main Street Board and Library, I get that. They're still very important, guys. And maybe that's the first baby step, perhaps. But that means you're telling yourselves, hey, we're all committed to something.
I said I was committed, just don't put me on library or historic.
I guess I think when I understood it was just a liaison. I don't think we should be on the board, because in my opinion, those are boards made of citizens who are not on city council. And I feel like it would be somewhat intimidating to be like, hey, I'm on city council, now I'm on your library board. You know, versus I like the idea of maybe liaisoning, or if there is a board that you feel like you want to know more about, you attend their meetings and you observe, or you get together with the chair over coffee, something like that. But I don't think we should be putting ourselves on those boards of citizens. And I can't think of, I mean, I'm racking my brain of other cities who, when they're on some sort of board and then they get elected to council, that they still sit on that board. Most of them.
Pflugerville is one of them.
Okay, well,
Majority of them are
they
on
also,
there.
they spell their name, their city wrong, so, no, I'm just kidding. No, I would be concerned with just, you know, I know if I were on a board and a city council person all of a sudden showed up, I'd kind of be like, I don't know, I just,
Cater your conversation to them.
what's that?
Cater your conversation to them.
Yeah.
I don't think it'll be oversight, because, I mean, at the same time, we're still citizens too. And then, like I stated, we all see where these boards get members, and then all of a sudden they're reaching out for more members too.
I mean, I guess I would ask, does everybody want to sit on yet another board? I don't.
Well, okay, well, then we probably shouldn't make it a thing.
I don't know that we need to actually sit on the board, but being there, yes, because I think that's going to boost them to say, oh, we've got council involved, so let me make for sure I'm there. I think our presence will make a difference, because it shows, well, we actually care about what they're doing. Right now, they're just, you know, they don't have our participation really effectively. So I think this would be more to help gain the trust and to make for sure that they know we are interested in them. They're not just there to be there.
I think as an example of the Public Safety Advisory Board, I've worked with them in the past, and a lot of times they're just kind of looking for some direction too from the county. They don't attend our meetings, so they're not sure what we've discussed, and I think there's a lot of things in the past. For instance, this ESD3 thing really would have been something they should have championed and been before the council and given their opinions on and stuff, but, so I agree with Joy. I think as a liaison, I think that's a great idea. I don't want to serve as a board member. So.
Yes, I like that, be a liaison, not necessarily a board member. We can-
Except we're already stipulated.
Well, except for the ones.
But already, yeah.
So which ones am I missing? We've got historic, library, parks, P and Z, Main Street, public safety.
There's only 6 of us
Yeah.
available because,
Board of Adjustments?
Well, I think, wasn't that
No,
one?
that one was
They're
excluded.
on,
excluded.
they're excluded.
yeah, because
I don't have my thing.
these 2 are already on EDC, so there's only 6 of us. We got, how many boards?
Six.
Six.
We have 6.
P&Z's
P&Z is
up
on
there
there.
too.
The committees you have, Historic Review Board, Library Advisory, Main Street Board, Parks and Rec Advisory Board, and Public Safety Advisory Committee.
Okay, so 5. And Alicia wanted libraries, sorry.
No,
You don't want to read?
I'm reading enough with this master's program.
Okay, so do we have a motion then?
That we become liaisons?
Liaisons, yes.
I'll make the motion.
Go ahead.
And I'll second.
Okay, it's been moved in second. We'll begin with Councilmember St. Pierre.
St. Pierre, yes.
Krim, yes.
Frazier, yes.
And Shan, yes.
Kesnowski, yes.
Gibson, yes.
Swing, yes.
Love, yes.
Okay, motion carries.
And we'll have further discussions on who's choosing what. I chose mine
Well, after
already.
the election,
Okay.
and then we'll deal with it.
Have a
We gonna put
CAPCOG
me on
meeting
Parks and
coming
Rec
up.
already. Yeah.
Grace?
Y'all, cause y'all might try to put me on library, so I'm already, now,
Yeah.
I'm gonna come to you.
Putting your stake down
Alicia
on
for
Yeah.
libraries, it sounds good.
Whew, yeah.
That's-
I got Joy for CAPCOG.
Okay, if there are no other announcements or anything, it is 8:16 and we are adjourned.